Hello and welcome back to Legal Briefs. If you are a crypto investor or really any type of investor and you aren't doing this one thing, you risk losing it all. But I'm not going to tell you what it is until 10 minutes into the video like everyone else on YouTube. Just kidding. But please do watch to the end. This could be the most important video you ever watch related to investing. You've worked hard, you did all your research, and back in the day, you invested your money in Bitcoin at 5 cents a coin, and you bought 1 trillion XRP coins for $1 and a pack of gum. And now you're doing pretty well, you got some money in the bank. So give me 10 minutes, I'm just going to distract you from your Scrooge McDuck pool of crypto money for just a little while, and let me show you how to protect yourself. Don't let yourself be taken advantage of, and don't put at risk what you've worked so hard for. I've seen people literally lose it all. I don't want that to happen to you. As you know, I'm a lawyer and my law firm files lawsuits against people every week. But we aren't stupid, generally speaking. We are looking for people with insurance or money. You might have heard the term deep pockets, right? Okay, so what I'm telling you is that if you have some money from your investments, unfortunately everything has changed for you. You now have a target on your back. You will now have a target on you not just because of lawyers, but because your family, acquaintances, business partners. They're all going to know that you're doing well. And that's just the unfortunate truth, and I've seen it happen, so protect yourself. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why, how, and where to do that in that order. First, why? The main reason is to protect your money from lawsuits and collectors, and the way to do that is to invest your crypto through a limited liability company, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. Now, why a limited liability company? First and foremost, because it provides asset protection. And I'll give you a quick scenario from my experience. My client last year let his son borrow his BMW when his son came home from college. Now the son went out, had a couple drinks, and hit a lady on his way home, injuring her pretty badly. The damages to the lady far exceeded my client's insurance limits, and so the son and the father, who was vicariously liable as the owner of the vehicle, were sued by the injured lady. So the moral of the story, don't have boys. They're nothing but trouble. But also that you can do nothing wrong and still be sued for a large amount of money. And by maintaining your assets in a limited liability corporation or LLC, you protect your assets from lawsuits. Now, under corporate law, the company is a separate entity and only responsible for its own actions. And if you are sued, and if you use the correct form and use the LLC correctly, the assets in the LLC cannot be touched by plaintiffs and other creditors. Now, why are you forming an LLC and not a sole proprietorship or S-corp or a regular corporation? First, an LLC has the simplest pass-through taxation, meaning that the corporation itself is not taxed, so there's no double taxation issues like with a regular corporation. And in fact, an LLC can provide you some tax advantages, which means you could be able to keep more money if and when you withdraw the money from your bank accounts. Now, that being said, tax issues are very complicated, much beyond me to discuss in detail. You need an accountant to tell you about that, preferably a creative accountant. Also, this is a good time to give you a disclaimer. Don't rely on anything I say as legal advice. In fact, if you're going to start an LLC, please go out, pay your local lawyer $500 to get it set up for you. It's money well spent, and think of all the starving lawyers out there. Okay, maybe don't hire that lawyer. Okay, so just how do you start this LLC thing I'm talking about? It's not hard. You can absolutely do it yourself. I found a nice little chart online that I borrowed from Nolo, which happens to offer an LLC formation service, by the way. Nolo, call me if you want to sponsor me. Very cheap. As you can see, the first step is the funnest. You get to choose a name, and the only requirement is that it's not already taken and that it ends with limited liability company. Get creative, have fun. Next, in most states, you have to appoint an agent delineated in case you, the company, gets sued. And that will usually just be you at your address. Next, you file the Articles of Organization, which sounds daunting, but it's really just something that says who the owners are, what the main business is. In your case, it would just be investment business. And that's it. Step 4 says prepare an operating agreement. And this is not important if you are the only owner of the company, which you most likely are. This is generally not necessary to do. But if you do it, you are going to need a lawyer to draft it for you. And then finally, you call or email the IRS, tell them the name of the company, and they will give you a federal tax ID number, usually the next day. So you're almost there. The final step is to open a bank account in the corporate name using the federal tax ID number, and bingo, you are done. You have a corporation. The third and final part of our discussion is how to use an LLC, and this is very important. The protection of an LLC only works if you actually treat the LLC as a separate entity. In law school, we spend about a month or two in corporations class learning about piercing the corporate veil, where we study how to sue individuals even though they are protected by a corporate structure. We try to figure out how to pierce the corporation and get at the individuals that are working inside it. So a couple things to be careful of here. You cannot use money in the LLC bank account for your personal stuff. Don't link it to your Amazon account. You can't commingle funds. Don't move money willy-nilly between your personal and business accounts. You can't do that. And last, when you do remove money for personal use, you have to ledger it or keep track of it somehow as a business disbursement to the owner. You have to track all money that's taken in and out of your business account. Which brings me to your trading. If you are going to do this correctly, your main trading account should be in your corporate name. My E-Trade account is not under my personal name, but under a company name. Now, Coinbase also allows for business accounts, and I won't lie to you, they are a little bit of a headache to set it up because Coinbase is going to want to confirm that your business actually exists and the information you provided is correct and a couple other things. For me, it took about 2 weeks, mainly waiting for them to get back to me. Now, funding my corporate account was actually the easiest part of it all. If you are already in an exchange, I believe you could just transfer from your personal to your corporate account. I'm not quite sure about that. The better way is how I did it, which is to write an old-fashioned check from your personal bank account to your corporate bank account, and then link your Coinbase or whatever exchange account you want to use to your corporate bank account. Old-fashioned, but easy to track and show that you are funding the business. So now we've covered the why, how, and that takes me to my last, but maybe also a very important issue. Where should you incorporate? Most states want your business, believe it or not, except California, of course. And you can actually incorporate in a state other than where you live, and this is especially true if you aren't selling goods across state lines, which I assume you aren't. So I want you to take a look at incorporating in one of 2 states if possible, Delaware and New Mexico. Why? For privacy. In most states, the companies you own are right out there for anyone to see, right on the internet. So let's say, for example, here in Florida, someone trips and falls on my property and the lawyer is looking at the case trying to decide if he's going to sue me. Now, all he has to do is go online, search my name on the corporation website, and this is what he sees within 2 minutes. Right there, right in front of him are all 10 or 11 companies I am involved with. It's public information. So the lawyer sees this and he says, this guy has some businesses, seems like he's doing pretty good. He might have some money, he might be collectible, so maybe a lawsuit worth pursuing. Or maybe there's some other reason for you personally that you don't want all that stuff out there, but in general, it's better if people can't see your corporations. And there are 2 states, Delaware and New Mexico, that keep that information private. Between Delaware and New Mexico, I would suggest New Mexico. Delaware has a lot of case authority, very extensive corporate rules and laws. They even have a special separate corporate court. So a lot of big companies, I think more than 50% of the Fortune 500 companies are incorporated there, but you don't need that. You need simple, cheap, and easy, and that is New Mexico. Sorry, New Mexico, don't mean to talk bad about you. In New Mexico, you can do all your incorporating documents online. It's just a 1-day turnaround, and it costs, get this, only $100 to incorporate with no yearly charge. Here's the website, sos.state. Now check out the website when you get a chance. It's very straightforward. Anyways, that is where we end this legal briefs. I've got to go because we are brief. Please spend the effort to incorporate. I've seen some really bad things happen to good people. Trust me, it's worth the effort. If you have any legal issue you'd like me to cover, please let me know in the comments and have a great day.